Hey guys, welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. Patera here, and I'm going to film for you a quick question and answer video. I had promised that when I reached 1,000 subscribers on YouTube that I would do that and have all of these questions come in, and we've had a few things happen, so I'm a little bit delayed, so I apologize for that in advance, but now that we're over 1,200 subscribers, it's even better. I may do a series of these because I have so many questions that come in. There's no way in a 15-minute or less video that I can talk about all of these subjects, and I do want to try to hit them as best as I can. So I'm just going to start off the bat. So the biggest question that I get a lot is about diatomaceous earth. If you're into homesteading and farming, you might be already understanding that there's a little bit of a controversy from some folks in terms of how you should use or not use diatomaceous earth. I think some of that comes from the idea of folks just have what they believe, number one. And number two, I think also some folks don't understand what it is. That's not to be ugly. That's just, I honestly don't think that they understand what's going on. So they read miscellaneous articles with information that may not be completely true or factual. So I do use diatomaceous earth in my barn. I have used it for over 3 years. I have never had a problem with any of my animals. I use it in their feed. I use it in my nesting boxes. I use it on the floor. I've used it in my coops. I have used it out in my gardens. I have been to several beekeeping association meetings. Beekeepers are beginning to use diatomaceous earth. It depends upon what type you are using. That is the situation you need to know about. I'm not going to go into a full, biology 101 class here on what diatomaceous earth is. They're diatoms. It's a fossilized organic material that people use for organic purposes in order to keep down pests and different problems like that. Please research this. I use PermaGuard. That is the brand that I use, and I buy it in very large 50-pound bags from my local co-op. You can find it online at permaguard.com. If you go to that website, they do an excellent job explaining to you exactly what real good food grade, white food grade diatomaceous earth is, how you should use it, and how it's mined, and all of that. I'm not going to debate homesteaders and herbalists or whoever, wherever, on, what they use versus what I use. I'm just going to tell you what I do. And I will tell you that if some point we start developing a problem, that I will stop, because I feel like that's my responsibility to do so. I will tell you that if you use it, say you use it in feed rations, you're supposed to use 2% or less. I don't go around the barn, flaking it everywhere like you would, like seen in a movie, flour in a bakery, okay? You have to use it strategically, use it finely, but I have found it to be very effective. I do not have a problem with mites. Some people will argue and tell me that's not why, okay? I do not have a problem, I don't have problems with mites to the degree that other people have had. We have seen some mites in here, but when I find them, I take care of it, okay? But I also don't have a problem with parasites in my animals. I've talked about my goats. I put it in their feed. When I got my goats, they were infested with tapeworms. And after about 4 days of giving only diatomaceous earth in their feed, they passed massive amounts of tapeworms, and one that was about 18 inches long came out of the mother goat. So, long story short, I have only found it to be extremely effective. Again, white food grade diatomaceous earth. And you're saying, well, I buy the stuff at Tractor Supply and it says it's food grade, but it's kind of a brown clay, a brown color. Well, that has a lot of clay in it, or iron in it, so you need to be aware of that. You might want to look at online for the white, like PermaGuard. You can also go to a lot of your health stores, and they sell it. Maybe a little bit pricier, but you can get smaller batches instead of big bags. So I'm an advocate of diatomaceous earth. It's each their own. I say that about every element of homesteading. I think people need to figure out what works for them or does not work for them, and then press forward. So I hope that helps you out. Some folks have asked me about essential oils. I'm continuing to use essential oils on a daily basis. I use it in all of my beauty products. I have found lavender to be my favorite, and I have found it to be extremely effective. That when I was in an accident and had severe bruising happening, I began applying lots of lavender and also frankincense. And I honestly believe that the lavender helped me out immensely. So I use Young Living. That is the brand that I do use. I have used a couple of other brands. I haven't had any issues. I think you need to decide what you like. Maybe start with just lavender or a few simple scents such as that. Use them in different applications, see how you like them, and then you get into them. Because some folks are very concerned and saying, I have never used them, I don't know how to use them. If you start with one very simple and you use it in maybe in your deodorant, or maybe peppermint in toothpaste, or peppermint in water for indigestion, very simple applications that you can study about that will ease you into the whole process. But I will tell you, they're wonderful and I love them, and they can change your life. I really think they can help. Someone asked me about how often do I hatch chicks. We just started hatching our own chicks this year, simply because we didn't have roosters until we got up here on the farm. And that was because of where we lived. We weren't allowed to have roosters. So, long story short, it just so happened that I had a couple of broody hens, and we will continue to press forward and forth with that. If we get broody hens and can hatch more chicks that way, that's great. We're also buying an incubator, and we are going to start hatching our own chickie babies. We're going to start with our black copper Morans. We have a rooster and three hens, and they're laying. So we are actually in the process of doing that now. I don't have a time schedule. I sell my eggs constantly to a lot of customers, and we're not on a set schedule for that. So I just wanted to. Some folks were asking me about that. So we just kind of. Right now, it's sort of a go with the flow scenario in terms of hatching chicks, but they're wonderful. We love them. We also buy them, obviously. So, someone asked me about my favorite breed of chicken. That's like asking me who my favorite child is. I will tell you that I have really enjoyed all of the breeds of chickens that we have. If I were to advise you on, it depends on what you're looking for. If you are wanting heavy layers, good layers, docile birds, I will tell you not to get a Polish. Somebody's going to disagree with me on that, but I will tell you right now that, the Polish hens have been pretty good. The Polish roosters, if you read about them, you will find that they can be aggressive. I don't find them necessarily so aggressive, but they are extremely nervous, it seems, at times. They're just a little bit more busy. And, and that you have to deal with that. So that adds a different element into the barn. If you like Polish, and they're exotic and they're fun, but at the same time, if you want more easygoing birds, laid back birds, I will tell you that your Barred Rocks, your Buff Orpingtons, your Speckled Sussex are fantastic. They are such sweethearts. We've had really good luck and a good time with all our different Easter eggers. Americanas are very good. So, but I will advise that when you start getting into a lot of your more exotic breeds, they can be have a little bit more of an eccentric temperament. So you need to be aware of that. So just a little blah blah there. Folks ask me about my feed for my chickens. I use a non-GMO feed by Tucker Milling. There are all kinds of different non-GMO feeds out there. I urge you to explore what's in your area, what your prices are, but Tucker Milling, Tucker, it's on Facebook. If you can get your co-op to get some of that in, it's a newer thing that they have started. I think that the continuation of folks buying it and using it like they are getting, I think they're having a lot of success from it, will continue to encourage them to produce it. Just like organic farmers, the more you support them and buy from them, the more they're going to produce for you. Same train of thought. Someone asked me about what type of if they were going to buy from a hatchery, what would you buy from? The two most recognizable ones that I have used that I would recommend is the McMurray and the Cackle. I have had really good luck with both of those. I actually have, we bought from them because that's where the breeder got them from or whatnot. So you might want to look those up. Someone also asked me about storing potatoes. We did not have any trouble storing our potatoes in our root cellar here at the house. If you are having trouble storing potatoes, remember that they need very dry conditions. They also need it to be very dark. Make sure they're well stocked in there, very well covered. And if push comes to shove, it is well worth your time and money to buy a humidifier so that you can understand what is exactly going on in there. And last but not least, Somebody just kind of panned in there, asked about how this little guy is doing. I would say he's doing pretty good. Life on the farm is really tough these days. Cochise is doing very well. We have put him in here temporarily. This is to protect him more so than anybody else. I let him out in here and he just comes out and lays next to you. He goes and checks out the hens. He wants to go up and lay by the goats. He has not been aggressive, or these are not very playful dogs in terms of what you're used to is what I had in a coonhound or a lab. Oh my goodness, no. Very relaxed, very laid back, low key, always watching. He came from a working farm, so from day one he was with mom and dad and grandma and brother and the whole 9 yards that were working LGDs. He was literally born in the pasture with kid goats. Okay, so this little guy, even though we did bring him in for a couple of days because we wanted him to get used to us. Some folks advise against that. I understand, but we felt that he was very nervous. And we wanted to take the time to get him, a little bit used to us. But we kept bringing him to the barn every single day. And now that we've made the full transition, we're going to keep this going. When he does come out, he likes to go across and he goes to the goats. And so the curiosity is dying down about him as the curiosity for him to them is dying down. They're getting used to each other. And, he's walking the perimeter. So we're just going to continue to work with him, work with the leash training and all of these things. So, and of course, we will have him neutered at 6 months. And just taking all the appropriate steps at each time level. So we appreciate your input on him. So we'll continue to do more question and answers. I know this is very, very fast. I have a lineup of videos coming up for a true antique cake, smoothie recipes, which are awesome, and a lot of other fun things. Spring is around the corner, so we'll be filming a lot outside. Hopefully, we've more than doubled the size of our big garden. So we have a lot coming up, and we'll talk more about seeds and compost and all these things. But check us out on Facebook and give us a like there. Subscribe to us here because we love hearing from you. I am on Instagram as well, and we do have a blog. I need to update the blog, and just continue to let your questions come in. I try to take note of them, and I'm trying to hit as many as I can in a short time span. So we appreciate you, and you all take care, and we'll talk to you.